Hello listeners. Welcome back to Storytime FM. Men of Reddit. What are some immediate red flags in men that women should look out for? Let's jump right in. This is one most women learn themselves around high school but still worth mentioning now. If he's an asshole to everyone but you, that doesn't mean he thinks you're special. It means he is an asshole but knows how to not be an asshole in order to get laid. Avoid people who are very polite and charming when they want something from those above them, but are arrogant and demanding when they think they can take something from those below them. People who smile up and kick down are the worst. Lack of respect for boundaries. Pushing small boundaries that aren't a big deal. Then, once called out on it, backpedaling, apologizing for it and then doing it again. Emotional manipulation, trying to guilt trap you. Only talks about themselves. Tried to find a less common one. For people looking for a long-term partner. Beware when someone complains about everything and is seemingly the victim in every situation. This is the type of person that will very quickly blame you if anything goes wrong, and is likely shitting on you to other people already. Secondly, it means you will be perpetually drained by the negativity over the long haul. Inability to compromise. Refusing to admit that they could possibly be wrong. I have seen many men get super frustrated and aggressive over the idea that they could be possibly wrong about something. To add on to this, many of these same men, when presented with the proof of them being wrong, they will either deflect or make it seem like it doesn't matter and that you were making such a big deal about this. We are all humans and we all make mistakes. I feel for many of these men they feel stupid and less manly if they are wrong about something. Being able to accept your mistakes and move on is a healthy trait. Suddenly flying off the handle at a minor inconvenience. It's one thing to stub your toe at the end of a bad day and give the table a whack. It's another if every moment of stress or misfortune triggers rage. Sexual pressure after you directly reject in advance. Healthy people with your interests in mind only need to hear no one time and are respectful of boundaries if they bring it up again in the future. Inability to clean up after themselves or do common household tasks. If he talks about his ex too much. As someone who was in love with an ex for way too long, I was not ready for a relationship with anyone else. When he is just a collection of squirrels in a trench coat. All of their ex-partners are crazy. If he's cheating on someone else with you, he will absolutely cheat on you with someone else. Controlling tendencies. Same for women tbh. Does he talk about always being ready to fight if necessary? Then he's a lunatic. Well-adjusted people in things like MMA don't want to fight randomly and don't seek it out outside of the sport of it. Half the point is to have a place for your aggression in a controlled setting. Going on and on about themselves. Arrogance is such a turn-off. A man that blames everyone else for his problems, lack of job, lack of friends, money, etc. So mean that is unwilling to take personal responsibility for improving his situation in life. If he agrees with everything you say, it's likely that he's not being himself and that he's telling you what he thinks you want to hear, which he thinks may help him get what he wants. If he claims all his exes were crazy or similar. Think for a second about what was the common factor in all those relationships, him. If his first reaction to any type of minor conflict is anger. Here, when I mean conflicts I mean little things. disagreeing with a fact stated, where to have dinner, minor customer service issues. If the first tool they reach for is anger for minor things, that is the tool they will always reach for first. People change, but this is a pretty fundamental personality aspect and unlikely outside of intervention. Can't take no as an answer. Acting as if fucking the whole world is an achievement. If he wants to be with you, then he will be with you. Trust his actions, not his words. Amazes me how many women let themselves get dragged along like this, not realizing they are one of many he is leading on. You might think you're special, but if a guy isn't committing to you, it's because he doesn't want to and is likely pursuing other options. That how he treats people in service industry. I couldn't exactly explain due to English being not my native language, but let's say he treats waiters like an asshole, orders him, her around like they are beneath him. This is a clear red flag. You could not really find better example of his lack of character. The first time he ever controls what the woman can and can't do, spend. Control in a relationship means one thing. It is and will always be able him and his need first. Gets angry when confronted for something they did or didn't do. Can't admit faults. If he is overtly angry when you talk to other people, specifically other men, that's a major red flag and he's probably gonna start to be possessive over you by not letting you talk to anyone else. Edit. Wrong word. If he doesn't put in an effort to make you happy. It doesn't have to make you happy whatever he does, but the fact he's putting in the effort means he truly cares about you enough that he cares about your mental health as well. Goes both ways. Never talks to you about yourself, never takes an interest in your hobbies, what you've been up to, etc. Actually scarily common in guys. It's probably the most common symptom of being self-centered AF. And yay, someone can be like this and still be nice to you, but they don't necessarily value you. How does he speak about others? Especially past loves? Especially ones that went wrong. If he dated 23 crazy bitches, you're gonna be number 24. What's his lifestyle? If it's bars and clubs every single week, sometimes multiple times a week, don't expect stability. How does he manage communication when frustrated? Is he lashing out at you with blame and anger? That's gonna come out often and accelerate as time goes on. And this one is for everyone. The beginning of any relationship is the easiest it will ever be. If it's a rocky start, is more than likely gonna be a rocky ride. Calls himself an alpha, calls other men a beta, calls women, females, and is generally intimidated by women. Asshole with men, kind with, often pretty and eager, women. Manipulators. Men that use emotions, anger, sadness, etc. to get you to do things you don't want to do. The worst ones are subtle ones, they chip away at you over time. Inability to say sorry when they do something wrong. Tempers. Some guys you can see from a mile away that they have anger issues and are looking for fights. Guys who have not tried living without their parents. Wants to clean, cook and take care of a man baby? Can be okay, but be very carefully before moving in together for any long-term solution. And guys who don't see women as people. They come in many shapes though. The Barney Stinsons, who will be charming and pick up all the girls but see them as objects. The nerdy guys who never talk to a girl and think they are a different species. That rich guy being a sugar daddy, the poor guy who thinks girls don't know how hard it is, since they can just talk flirty and get things. One saying I've always lived by is, pay attention to how they treat waitresses. How they treat waitresses today is how they will treat you in 6 months. Anyone who makes it hard for you to have friends should make you run and never turn back. Tell you what to do. How you should think. Who you should see. What you should eat or wear. Holes in the drywall. Run. Alcoholism. For the love of God, make sure he can function like an adult. You know, cook a few dishes, do laundry, clean up after himself, go to work on time. I cannot stand when women complain about how the manchildren they start dating still being manchildren years later. Big shocker. If their mom still does their laundry even though they're 36 years old. I moved back to my home state and this is a phenomenon I have noticed all over this area. The grown-ass men who can't do their own damn laundry. Not like, oh, yeah, someone else happens to do my laundry and I do other chores to make that shit equal. But straight up, does not know how, to the point that when single they have to drive over to their mommy's house and hang out like it's a goddamn full-service laundromat and even have sandwiches while they wait. Being too nice and immediately putting you on a pedestal. You want to be two boats meeting at sea that decide to tie a rope together. The rope allows you to come together and drift apart. Immediate red flag when someone wants to ditch their boat for yours. I'll die on this hill. Every man I've ever known who was an outspoken feminist was horrible to women behind the scenes. Treating a waiter, waitress or someone in the service industry, maybe on a first date, like shit. I would be cautious of a man who is protective. It seems nice on the surface to have a man so willing to stick up for you and want to protect you. But keep in mind, he could just be an angry, confrontational person, especially if you notice he needs to get protective with just about everything. If he agrees with you on absolutely everything, he's either a weak doormat or just trying to get into your pants. Lying. If he is able to lie about the small stuff, he most definitely won't blink twice to lie about the bigger stuff. Pretty much anything you look at and think, I can fix him. Or relatedly, but he won't do that with, to me. No you can't, and yes he will. If they wear sunglasses at night. You should never masquerade with the guy in the shades. Instead of just being nice, having to refer to self as nice and better than other guys. That just proves you're hateful inside and think less of those around you. Gaslighting, being rude to others, talking shit about their friends, they're probably talking shit about you behind your back too. And toxic masculinity type BS. Men should do this, women shouldn't do this. Bitter and awkward comments about exes. Broccoli, yee ass haircuts. Financial dishonesty. Lying about how much he earns, less, more. Scamming, cheating people. Lying about debt. Living above their means. A laissez-faire attitude towards spending your money, not pulling his own weight. Having a history of scamming others. When he said something like, I did these all for you. You know I did these because I love you. I am the only one that is ever going to love you. I am not letting you wear certain clothes because I care about you. Unbalanced and rigid immaturity that will never change. That's all we've got time for today. Join us tomorrow for more. In the meantime, leave a comment with your stories and thoughts below. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more. Until next time, listeners.